Welcome back, guys, back in the swing studio here at Barra Golf Club, and we've got another exciting iron review here with the new Srixon Z965 blade iron. Now this is a player's iron, just a beautiful golf club. I think if as a golfer and you look at this and you don't skip a heartbeat, I think there's something not quite wired up with it, to be honest. This is just a lovely looking classic golf club. Now this is going to be not everybody's cup of tea here, as you can probably expect. You know, I think when you present a bladed club down, you know, the slim top line, it's like, I'm going to have this run out the middle, you know. You've got to be a very consistent ball striker. Having said that, looking at other bladed irons on the market from other brands, I would probably say this one is a slightly bigger profile in terms of the head size. It's not ultra thin top line. Let's try and get a different angle. I'll show you player's view in a minute. It is a very thin sole, as you can probably see that, but it's not an ultra thin top line, so some of them just look like a slither of metal behind a golf ball. This looks alright in terms of the size, so it might not be as daunting when you present it down by the golf ball, but at the end of the day you know it's a blade in your mind, and you just got to, especially when you're getting those lower irons, you've got to make sure you're at the middle of the golf club here. So I'd imagine this is going to be a little bit more forgiving. I definitely saw that with last year's model, the 945. It was I thought, quite a forgiving iron for a blade. Obviously not as forgiving as a cavity back, but for a bladed iron it was quite forgiving. So it'll be interesting to see what this one feels like on mishits, really. Just going into a little bit of tech here, similar to the other two models which I've done reviews on my channel already. Go check them out if you want to. But the 965 here, as you can see, it's a thinner sole. There's no, obviously, cavity on there. You've just got that little bit of weighting at the bottom here that just, but again, it's quite minimal there. So it is a true classic blade iron. So really aiming at maybe a sort of lower launch here, more penetrating ball flight, which is generally what the better player is looking for. They've got a new and improved VT sole from last year's model, which you can see is more polished at the back and satin at the front to really define the difference between those. And what they've done with this is they've just shaved off a little bit more at the back of it, back section of that sole, which is allowing the interaction a little bit smoother through the turf as the club interacts through turf through impact. So that helps you keep up speed basically through impact and maintain the consistency of ball speed and spin to hit your desired distance. Okay, so that's their little bit of tech there. The grooves are slightly bigger, as I said in previous models here and previous videos. Slightly bigger on the grooves, so it helps to get debris off the club face. Again, helping on consistency of spin, so reducing the chance of those flyers they sometimes get out of those wet off, you know, the rough sort of lies basically. The difference on the sole a little bit here on the edges, it's more rounded on the sole there. Last year's models was chamfered off slightly, so again it's just shifting a little bit of weight here to try and work on ball speed across the face here. End of the day, it's a blade, you know, so you do need to collect your strikes quite consistent here. But I'll tell you what, that is just looks beautiful. I can't stop looking at it. It's just awesome. Right, so I've got this in a modus 130 tour, stiff, half-inch longer. Standard lie angle here. Unfortunately, I've only got one head in this in my demo pack, which is standard, so the lie isn't quite perfect for me, but this will affect in terms of what I'm going to sort of strike and feel the performance of it. Let's hit some shots. Got GC2 HMT wide up here. I've got my HMT stickers on it, so we've got some proper data here, and then we'll have a look at some numbers and come back to you shortly. Okay, so just a different look from the playing position here that you can see. So again, a very sort of blade-like appearance behind the ball, thin to sort of slight medium top edge there, but not as thin as maybe other blades on the market. Just see that slightly more rounded toe section there, which is a bit of a theme through all the three sort of models. I'll just spin it around here just to get a back angle. There we go, we can see that very sort of classic polished look that you generally expect from a bladed club. And then spin it around to the front, you can probably just start to make out those laser milling there, just in between the grooves there. Okay, which is helping on consistency of spin. Beautiful looking golf club. Okay, so Z965. Definitely a slimmer look behind the ball against the other two models. True sort of blade look. So a few shots. Nice, feels lovely. Right, I'm going to get a few shots off camera to speed up the video and we'll be back soon with some numbers. Okay, there's a batch of shots hit with the 965, the blade. As with the other ones, feels absolutely beautiful. So let's have a look at some numbers and see how that launch, spin and distance is working out. Okay, so there's a shot dispersion there with the 965. Just look at it in terms of a ring. So again, quite consistent there. I'm hitting some quite nice shots with that. Let's just have a little delve into some numbers in a little bit more detail. Just click on that. Okay, so club head speed 92.9 miles an hour. So this speed has stayed quite similar, or very, very consistent with all three models, the 5, the 7 and the 965s here. Ball speed again in that similar sort of area. So not seeing a massive difference of change of ball speed here really. Lofts have changed from all three models. So the 565 is 27 degrees for 6 iron, 28 degrees for the 7 series and 29 degrees for the 9 series. But the ball speed's staying very similar. Launch is coming out a little bit lower again, which you sort of expect because it's a blade. That CG isn't pulled off the face here, so it's very forward. Generally promotes that slightly lower launch, which it's doing. Spin, again, around the similar sort of area, 4, 3. I'm just getting 4, 4.5 roughly with the 765. So it's just a touch lower than that, which you'd sort of expect because it's a blade. Peak height 33 yards, descent angle 44 degrees. So that's exactly the same as a 765 here, and pitch distance is exactly the same, 188. Again, very consistent on the numbers, and this is what Srixon are really pushing here, the consistency of these irons. Okay, so there we have it, the Z965 iron from Srixon. One beautiful looking blade there. Again, this is probably a very small market here, and very sort of smaller amount of golfers will get into this actual golf club. But I think for the guys who play blades, have always played blades, and they will probably never change from that. This is definitely worth a go. There's obviously a lot of other brands out there that do some quality blades, forged blades here, and for me, this is right up there with all of them. So it's a little bit more limited, maybe than the other brands. It's not sort of mass spread all across all stockists here, but if you do find your local fitting centre here that has the demos, obviously there's a lot of shaft options to look at here. Definitely worth going and having a test and having a go. It's an absolute cracking looking iron. Okay, again, muted sound on contact, very buttery sort of feel. Okay, hope you enjoy the video. Do check out the other videos I've got on my channel, the 765, the 565. The drivers are all coming very soon, and also the new Cleveland RTX3 wedges, so stay tuned for those. Like the video, please share it around, and please subscribe if you haven't done so already. See you all very soon.